What is going on, everybody? Dirk Velde here with the Ground Up Game. Today, we're at one of our single family builds. We're building, we've done 5 in this community, and I just want to give you guys an update. We did a video before when we got here. We did the survey on it, we did the foundation, and now we're in the framing and the MEP, the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing stage, and I want to just give you guys a tour. So this house, like I said, we built 5 homes in this community. This is an iteration of that same house, and you'll see the floor plans really similar. One thing we updated in this house, if you think about an entry, so a normal entry would have a 6'8" door, 6'8" door. In this one, we upgraded it to give you more of a grand sense of entry. So this is going to be an 8-foot door, and just those 2 feet, it adds a lot to the feel as you come into the home. So, you know, we're in the framing stage. As you guys saw, you saw it staked out, you saw it dug out, we did the foundation, the underfloor plumbing, the underfloor framing, and then now we're in the full framing stage and the MEP stage. One of the things that when we were first learning how to build that, I want to show you, when you do these wall assemblies, so this here, after we rolled our joist, this is our subdecking, So we did this gets put down, it gets a foam on the joist, set down. And then from there, we start assembling our framing walls. So these exterior walls are all done in 2x6 walls. And if you look at what happens here in a wall, these here, you've got 2x6 walls laid out 16 on center. So these are all laid out 16 on center. And then when you get to an opening here, the construction language for a framed wall, this stud right here, the one that runs from your bottom plate to your double top plate here, this is called your king stud. The ones next to it, the 2 next to it, those are called trimmers or jack studs, but trimmers. And depending on how much weight that we are required to pull down, we'll either have 2 trimmers or 3 trimmers. So you have a king stud, a trimmer. All of these here are cripples below. These are cripples. This is your bottom plate. You see a double bottom plate. You've got your top plate, your header here, right? Your header for your window. And these trimmers hold that weight that come down. And then you move back through and you've got another king stud. And then you go right back to your 16-foot on center layout. And that's how all those exterior walls are done. You'll see that same thing happen on the next exterior wall. On interior walls, from a framing side, we'll have the same thing. We'll have a bottom plate that you see right here. But these are going to be framed still 16 on center, but these are going to be framed in 2x4s. So rather than 2x6 lumber, these are in 2x4s because they're interior walls. There's not as much, 1, insulation only for sound, and 2, there's not as much weight. These are non-bearing walls from a weight side. So these are framed in 2x4s. Other things you're going to see during this roughing right now, we touched on the framing piece. So let's talk about the MEP, the mechanical, the electrical, and the plumbing. So the first sub that comes in when we're doing the rough MEPs is the plumber. And you'll see all this pipe here. This is all future plumbing. So this is the rough plumbing phase. You've got this right here. This is your PEX pipe, your water supply. So that started in the underfloor. And then now we're hitting all the walls for it. So you've got your hot water, your cold water. Same thing over here, your hot water, your cold water. This in the future will be what we call a double vanity. So there'll be 2 sinks here. And then this ABS, this is for your drain line. What goes down is for your drain line that's going to go out into the main sewer. And then what goes up is for venting. So for smells, that's for venting. And that goes up through the roof. So you can follow that here as well, right? We have a vent that runs up through the roof for any smells that accumulate. So you've got the ABS here. You also see us rough in all of our tubs. So these fiberglass units, these get put in during rough-in. You'll see we also meet insulation code by putting insulation and an air barrier before you slide that tub in, right? We have to do that so that we can slide this tub in, pass our rough-in, and still insulate the entire wall assembly. So after the plumbers come in, which you see here, they'll do that same rough-in all across the board. So I showed you 1 bathroom, but to give you an idea, over here, that's where your future kitchen's gonna be. So above that window, we'll have our kitchen that comes in, right? It's the same assembly where you've got your hot water, your cold water, and your PEX pipe, and your drain, right? So this is the same assembly. This is where our future kitchen's gonna be. Another thing that the plumbers will do is they'll run this gas line in. So this gas line's for anything. This gas here is gonna be for a future range. So it's a gas range. And you'll see us also run gas for any barbecue or anything else that we need. In this house, it's actually a real short run just from our gas meter over to our range. So it's good. It's a good short run, and you want to plan that out, because when plumbers are charging you or anyone's charging you, they charge you by the foot, right? How many feet of gas they have to put in dictates what the cost is. So get really smart on where you bring your main meter in and then where your runs are. It actually does look like we have some more gas to do. This gas still needs to run to both the fireplace and it needs to run to a barbecue pit. So we've got to get the guys on that. Other things you'll see, now that we talked about the plumbing, let's talk electrical. And what's cool about being in the roughing stage, you can just move right through walls. Doesn't even matter, you can just go right through the walls, maybe like a ghost. So the electrical scope, everything starts at the outside. So when we did our foundation, we planned for this sweep. This is a sweep that went into the foundation, and this is what brings all of the electric into the house. So on the outside of this, you'll see a meter. That's where the Mid-State Electric Company reads the electricity that's happening in the house. And then from this meter into the panel, you'll see all of the runs and everything that starts to happen. So you'll see this main cord, this huge cord here, this one runs from the meter and gives this panel electricity. And then we have a bunch of runs that still need to be labeled that then run all the way throughout the house. So when the guys are doing their electrical roughing, they're planning for their runs to the kitchen, the bathrooms, they're planning for their runs everywhere they need to go, to the fireplace, and each one will have a home run back into the panel with a breaker system. So it's really imperative to plan out, where do you want your switches, where do you want your can lights, where do you want any electricity for the home, because during the roughing stage, this is where you have a big chance to make it happen. One other feature that I love about this house, and then we're gonna close this video out, we're gonna close this roughing tour out, is in this house, it's still a one-story. We only had to frame one set of walls, if you can see. But because there was a big attic, we added a super sexy feature. So come check this thing out. Since you guys know I got all the kids and I love the kids, I'm a family guy. One of the key things and one of the major features I thought we could bring into this house was a playroom. So I always get concerned when you're trying to create for the community, you want to create the best stuff you can, but you also have to be smart about your budget. And building 2 stories creates second walls, more floor joists, etc. It can add a lot to your budget. But on this house, rather than create 2 stories, we said, hey, why don't we, in the trusses, take advantage of what would just be attic space has now become livable, usable playroom, bonus room, whatever you want to call it. So this one, I'm really proud about this design feature. I think it adds a ton of value without adding much additional cost to the project. If you guys want to watch us bring the rest of this to life, take it through rough framing, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and all the way into finish, just give us a follow and we will see you on the next one.